Thank you, everyone. Hello and welcome to the Master of Financial Engineering program at UCLA Anderson, our first admissions info session and Q&A of this season. And we're also glad that you could join us. I have with me two of our colleagues. And right now, I'd like to pass you along to Jeff, who is my admissions coordinator and really my right hand. So when you are asking questions about the application process, a lot of times you'll have contact with Jeff. So Jeff, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Leanna. Hey, everybody. So glad you guys were able to join us, no matter where in the world you are. I know you're coming from all different parts. My name is Jeff. As Leanna mentioned, I'm the admissions coordinator here at the UCLA MFE program. I support Leanna with all things admissions, helping answer your guys' questions, making sure your application process goes smooth. So we certainly hope that you'll all be applying. So I very much look forward to communicating with you all and helping you with your applications. In addition, I do support the team in various other ways as well. We are a very family-like community here in the MFE program. So yeah, very excited to have you here. And on that note, let me pass it to our wonderful career coach, Olga Inglis, who is here to join us as well.
Oh, thank you, Jeff. That's so kind of you. Great introduction, all true. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Olga Inglis, and where I am around the world, I'm actually in New York City. It's because I'm actually based in New York City, and I think the first person from UCLA who is based in New York City, well, in exception for our, of course, our program director. And so my roles here is to guide you through the whole career process, which is, well, the reason I'm based on the East Coast is because, well, first of all, my background is in mathematics and economics, and I did work on Wall Street for 10 years, almost at days, years, in different quantitative roles. I worked in credit derivatives, high-yield research, market risk management. I think I worked somewhere else. So basically, in two large sell-side banks, and one of which is actually no longer. That was Credit Suisse, first Boston, then it was Credit Suisse, but now it's UBS. So I know the industry inside out because I worked alongside the traders, mostly focused on prop trading, corporate bonds, fixed income, and also exotic products. Worked with quants and the rocket scientists who were actually able to price those variant swaptions we were constructing, and risk management also. So what I bring to the table is the I don't want to say the inside knowledge. It's not really inside, but I know the culture. I know the product. I speak the same language, and I still maintain my professional network from back in the day when I was on Wall Street. So I'm a bridge between West Coast and East Coast because I want to. Sometimes maybe there's a perception that because of this geographical distance, and I want to make sure that nowadays that everyone is either remote or travels, or I want to make sure that everyone is given the same opportunity. And I think it is happening because I've been talking to some major hedge funds, and they are very receptive. I'm not going to mention which names, but they're very receptive. So it's what Jeff said is absolutely true. We are like a big family, and we do support one another. Jeff and Diana have been very helpful in all sort of ways, and I think it's an incredible program. Culture matters a lot to me. It always mattered to me when I was on Wall Street. When I'm off Wall Street, it's that's what's really it's important. So I love the culture, the campus is beautiful, regardless to say. I mean, I wish I went to school like that. But so yes, from also interviews, resumes, just guiding you through the process, because sometimes people have sort of like think this way, and I'm sort of like broad in perspective. And making sure that the level of awareness is expanded beyond maybe what you have experienced so far. So that's a long story short, a short story long. Either way, thank you for being here, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. We are so lucky to have Olga on our team representing us on the East Coast. And so with that, you all can see I put the agenda on the screen. We will go through an introduction of not only the team, but, and this is just a small portion of the team, but we'll also go through what financial engineering is and some career support overview, curriculum overview, and then the admissions and application requirements. And then at the end, I hope to have time for Q&A. So if you have a question that comes up, go ahead and type it in the chat box, and Jeff will moderate that, and we can get to those questions at the very end. So let's move on to the next slide. So what is financial engineering? Some of you may already know because you've been doing your research, you've been looking at different programs, but some of you may have just found out that this is a program that you could potentially consider. And so a good way to think about it, apart from financial engineering, is mathematical finance, computational finance, financial mathematics. It integrates concepts from math, statistics, and computer science with finance theory. And it refers to the mathematical modeling, quantitative research, and analysis involved in pricing, selling, trading, and investing in a wide range of financial instruments like stocks, bonds, foreign currencies, commodities, derivatives, such as options, futures, swaps, some of those. So our goal, what is our goal? Our goal is to provide students with rigorous training that enables you all to apply your quantitative skills in the financial markets. And, moving on, our program is a STEM designated full-time concentrated practical curriculum done in 15 months. And so it's very, very quickly, we go through the practical curriculum very quickly. We are currently recruiting for the class of 2025, which begins September 2024 and ends December 2025. So a little bit later, Jeff will get through the admissions requirements, but this is a layout of how our quarter system works. We have a fall quarter, a winter quarter, a spring quarter. They are all 10 weeks long. Then you go away for your summer internship where you do a summer research project. And then you come back for your final fall quarter and you graduate in usually mid-December. So it's very fast paced. So moving on. So you see in front of you the Anderson Advantage, and we consider this, a competitive edge. We are a top-ranked quantitative finance program housed in a top-tier business school at the #1 public university in the U.S. for the 6th straight year in a row. And that is according to U.S. News and World Report. So we're very proud of that record. The benefits of being part of a business school, you have access to events like the Velocity Women's Leadership Summit, which brings together current and future leaders of all backgrounds to explore ideas for a more equitable future in business and society. We've got strong industry ties. We've got ties to the Fink Center for Finance and Investment. We have the MFE Industry Advisory Board. We are so privileged to have world-renowned finance faculty who teach in our program. And our location, you can't really beat that. We have very close proximity to the FinTech hub, Silicon Beach. We've got great weather and multicultural cuisine. So, you can't really beat that. We've got a phenomenal career services track record. And like I mentioned before, a very practical curriculum. So you're able to learn in the classroom and then take that out into the finance industry and apply that knowledge hands-on. So a lot of team competitions. We have won first place in the University Trading Challenge. I'm not sure if any of you are aware of that, but we've also had, people participate in the RITC, which is the Rotman International Trading Competition. The MFE program actually sponsors a team of students to participate, and that takes place in February each year. We've got alumni coaching program, and actually, I think we have more now. Jeff, do we have 4 alumni coaches, or is it more than that now?
That's a good question. I know that we have at least 4, and
Right.
that we may have added some. I could double check on our website and follow up on that.
So you guys can check my data by going on our website and taking a look at the wonderful alumni coaches that have actually the girl in the right-hand bottom corner, Victoria Quach. She is actually one of our alumni coaches. And I really can't say enough great things about the MFE program and what we offer. We have an MFE newsletter that goes out. It helps students stay informed on networking events and open positions to apply for. We just last year actually started a course called Communication with Impact, and that is taught by MBA professors who are experts in this field. So we've got really great things planned for all of our students. If you see in the bottom left-hand corner, Armando, he was one of our students, and he actually graduated after having done an internship at BlackRock. He received a full-time offer to return to the San Francisco office after he had graduated. So he's doing very well there. He's making us very proud. And with that, so career support overview, our goal is to expand our graduates' abilities to meet the demand for talent in the financial marketplace. Like I said before, I mentioned we have career coaches that are dedicated to your success. Our career support team is effective and responsive and offers coaching on the full career journey, from applications to negotiation, as well as personalized one-on-one coaching to help you design, market, and pursue your career interests. And oftentimes, as a new student coming in, you think you want one thing, but then very quickly you start going through your courses and you start realizing, actually, I'm very interested in this other path. And so our career support team is here to support that journey. And, you'll partner with our career support team to help you market yourself and your new skills. And they will assist you with your resume development and coach you on presentation, interviewing, and that very important negotiation piece. We offer you individually tailored guidance, so you meet one-on-one with our career support team, and you have access to each member of our career support team. So that's a very important aspect of our program that we hold very high. And so, you have every tool available at your fingertips to succeed post MFE, not just during. So I wanted to mention, the numbers we have up here, it says 100% employment rate, 6 months post-graduation. That is for the previous class, not the previous class, pardon me, the class before that graduated. And right now, our official employment numbers will not be released until next week. However, I wanted to let you all know that preliminarily, our employment numbers for this past graduating class look very similar to the previous class, just to give you some idea. And right now, the average total compensation after graduation is $134,000. So that also gives you a great idea of what you might have the potential to be earning post MFE. Bear in mind that, it also depends on the amount of work experience you had before coming in. So we try to manage everyone's expectations. If you come in straight from your undergrad, most likely you're going to get an offer from a company that is going to offer you perhaps a lower level position. However, as I said before, our career support team is here to help get you the best possible. And so you can see on the wheel, we've got some interesting things mentioned here. We've got the one-on-one coaching, summer internships, technical interview prep. We have one of our professors who actually does 4 sessions with each class on quant interview prep. And he actually is the one who teaches our one of our courses during the spring quarter. And we're so lucky that he was willing to also take time out to teach you quantitative prep. And career city treks, I wanted to mention as well. So one thing that is very unique about our program is the fact that every spring quarter, right before spring quarter begins, we take a group of students over to New York, and Olga hosts, and she's wonderful at, creating opportunities for our students to meet with different companies. Olga, if you wouldn't mind sharing some of the companies that they went to this last spring.
Right? Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Liana. Yes, always a pleasure to host. Not in my apartment, but but to host all the students here. Just wanted to add I'm not self-promoting or anything, but I am. But what's unique about the program? What's unique about our program is that I think career coaches, not too many career coaches have Wall Street experience, and I have 10 years under my belt, as they say. So I do speak language when I'm talking to recruiters, when I'm talking to hiring managers, PMs. So there's this automatic emotional sort of connection, like we're coming from the same world. So this is definitely something you guys can leverage off, and something that I'm happy to provide. But as Liana said, yes, New York City tracks always. It's always a pleasure to have the students here. And some of the companies we went to over the 2 years, proud to say that, yes, we went to Deutsche Bank when they moved from 60 Wall Street to beautiful Columbus Circle overlooking Central Park. And we were the first ones to visit their trading floor. And that was one of the most beautiful trading floors I've ever seen. When I worked in the dungeon of Deutsche Bank 60 Wall, of course, they did not move, but now they have. Then some of the companies, so Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, Millennium, RBC, Royal Bank of Canada, then also Quantile, which is. There are some companies that are really going to be taking off, and that's one of them. Decameron, then and then someone who speaks French maybe can say it better. I'm going to say shortened version, SocGen. Maybe Leanne can say it better. Society General, or I need to work on my French. What can I say? Exactly.
Right. So this is just a bird's eye view of what you could potentially, have at your fingertips. Thank you, Olga. We don't want to give away everything.
I was going to go on and on and on. So I'm just going to my mic.
So to find out more, you'll have to join. So, so I'm going to move on to the next slide and, talk about what do financial engineers do. And I will say that Olga was invited to join us just this morning. Otherwise, I would have had her also talk about this slide. However, I'm not going to do that to you, Olga.
Oh, I can talk about the slide if I'm ready.
Okay, if you would like to, that'd be great. Yes. So,
but only after you. I mean, I don't want to.
Go ahead.
Oh,
let's hear from an expert.
Well, I would not call myself an expert. Well, I'm an expert in career coaching, but quantitative finance, yes, I'm familiar with. I worked alongside the quantitative finance, but what do financial engineers do? There is a whole range of things that they can do. They can do from sort of like front to back, and some I work with the traders. So there's quant trading. There's also where you are sort of in a in a front office, like money making machine, and that's I think that's where they consider some consider most prestigious role. But then again, it needs to fit your personalities. Like traders, they think fast on their feet, adapt to the ever-changing environment. Then you have quant research, which gives you more flexibility and creativity to come up with different ideas and strategies, and don't have that much pressures, kind of like a little away from the trading desk. Quant development, then data science, they're all different aspects. So over here, of course, there are models involved. And as you know, not all models are perfect. And as you know, that not all models are workable, but some are, which adjustable to if you need, well, I'm not going to go into tech terms. So test and implement, absolutely. So, I mean, this is an exciting part because you can implement a model for exotic financial instruments such as derivative. And then traders will take it and make profits out of it. Will use your model. I mean, and there's different. It could be also a project-oriented role where you're working on. I just spoke with someone yesterday, actually. Not to give out the name, but her role was fantastic. She was working 5 projects at once. But she loved his job so much. So she said 3 is okay, but now I'm working 5. And what she's doing is basically predicting bond prices within 15 seconds. The bond prices come up and the confidence level is like 90%. So it's a fascinating, she's in a fascinating role and she is doing just fine. So this is an exciting role she's in. So where do financial engineers work? Oh, they work in there's a buy side, as you know, like you have hedge funds, you have sell side, which is large investment banks like Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, Deutsche Bank. And each one has their pluses and minuses, just like everything else. Everything is a double-edged sword. So we have asset management, consulting, asset management. So this would be more like a buy-side type of role, I would assume. Consulting and valuation. This would be like more like Ernst & Young. And by the way, consulting roles. Everything's contextual. I would not just say asset management, or sometimes I ask someone, so what do you want to be? Who do you want to be? And they just say, I want to be a prop trader. And I was like, why? And they say, because it's cool to be a prop trader. I was like, okay. Or sometimes I want to be a hedge fund manager. It's like, all right, let's step back a little bit and I play chess. So it's like a sort of deductive, inductive approach. So how do we get there? So data science, yes, absolutely. You have data, and you need to pick out what's relevant and what's irrelevant. And that's hard, like if outliers, extreme value theorem. Portfolio management, this is similar to asset management. Risk management. Now, this is, you would be working with value at risk model, back testing, making sure, well, risk management right now, it's all about risk management. I guess they say it's a risk-adjusted return, but not going to go into technicalities. Quantitative research and analysis. So this is, I think, to some personalities or temperaments. So just this is a fun part. Like that's where you get to use your creative side and maybe bring something to the table that no one has thought of. Sales and trading, this is something I covered. You work close to the trader, and you basically it's like in tandem. But there's two kinds, but it's more on a go. It's very demanding. It's sometimes it's stressful. Depends on your level of but this is like where the action is at, as they say. Strats and modeling. Strats is short for strategies, and modeling it's that could be applied to actually every single field over here. It really depends, but creating models and developing trading strategies maybe through your scientific thinking, through the scientific muscle that you will develop. Of course, financial engineers are highly respectable, and as everything is getting, I don't want to say like there is AI, machine learning, but this is something that I think that the demand will only grow. And sometimes there are questions like, well, if AI, ML, or take over, like what do you need people for? But the thing is, it's really counterintuitive, but like the more things getting automated, the more soft skills, judgment call we actually need. So just to keep it in mind, and I think I went over time.
That's okay. That was fantastic, Olga, for being put on the spot. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Great. Sorry if it went too long. Okay.
No, that's wonderful. I'm sure they got a lot out of it. And now to take a look at the curriculum, we do have a very, very, as I said before, practical curriculum. You do earn 72 units through core and elective coursework and the hands-on applied finance project. And I'll just speak a little bit about the applied finance project. It is our capstone, and it gives you the practical know-how. It gives you the opportunity to apply knowledge acquired through the MFE coursework to a real-world financial engineering issue by partnering with a corporate client. So it gives you that hands-on feel for what it would be like to actually be in the finance industry and be working on a project with someone. So students further develop and showcase their knowledge of quant finance, hone their communication skills, and do a deeper dive into an area of interest. And the projects range from areas including quantitative trading strategies, portfolio management, risk management, hedging, and derivatives valuation. And some of our partners in the past have included Accenture, Double Line, Citi, Hyundai Capital, KPMG, PIMCO, Goldman Sachs, PwC, and many, many more. And so you as a student are required to interact directly with the client, allowing for an opportunity to gain exposure to potential employers. So you want to put your best foot forward, definitely. You never know what could come out of a great project. And so the career development series, which you see in the fall and the winter quarter at the bottom of the curriculum list, that is something that we have developed over time. And it not only includes the communication for impact courses, but workshops on negotiation, interviewing tips, how to present yourself in order to stand out in an interview, just to name a few. And during the summer quarter, MFE students work on a required internship, or alternatively, perhaps there are some who are considering going into a PhD program and they would rather put their time and energy into doing a summer research project. That is also possible. Every year we do have some students who choose that route instead of doing an internship. And so if you take a look, we've got investments, financial accounting, econometrics, and stochastic calculus the first quarter. And that just builds into the next quarter, which is winter quarter, when you have trading, market frictions, and fintech, fixed income markets, which I will say is taught by one of the world's most renowned fixed income gurus, really, Professor Francis Longstaff, and you are in the classroom with him. And that's one of the fantastic things about being a student here, is that you have all of these talented minds, and they're right there in front of you, and you're learning from them. And when our students show interest in their research, they're so happy. So again, we go back to winter quarter. We've got derivative markets, which is actually taught by our faculty director. The students absolutely loved his course this last winter quarter. And empirical methods in finance. And then again, we have the career development series. And in the spring quarter, right after you may have potentially gone on the spring break trip, the career city trek to New York, or, perhaps even San Francisco or Boston or Chicago. We have taken our students to all of those places at different times. So you'll come back for spring quarter, and you will learn from the professor who does the quantitative interview prep sessions. He teaches computational methods in finance. And then you also have financial risk management. And then you choose special topics in financial engineering. And this past year, we actually offered an MBA elective because we realized that ESG is a very hot topic, and one that our students are quite interested in learning about. So we were able to partner with the MBA program and offer that to our students. And we're looking at offering a lot more electives that are cross program. And we're very pleased and excited about that. So you can also choose between data analytics and machine learning and quantitative asset management. And we may even have more to choose from this upcoming course that you are going to potentially apply for, and we hope you do. So then you go off for your summer internship, or you do your summer research project, and then you come back for a final fall quarter. And that's when you really, really hit the ground running with your applied finance project. That's when you start working with your group a lot more. There will be action items that you need to complete. And then you also select topics in financial engineering again. And this year, actually, as I mentioned before, for the spring quarter, in the fall quarter, our students are actually able to select some of the MBA electives as well. And some of our students selected negotiations behavior. It's not listed here because we are not certain that it will be available again. However, I did want to mention that this is definitely an option going forward. We also offer credit markets, intro to the finance of blockchain and cryptocurrency, statistical arbitrage, behavioral finance, Financial market risk and regulation was one that we offered last year. I don't know if it will be offered again this year. However, there will be other choices to choose from. And so with that, let's pass it on to Jeff, who is going to go through the class of 2024 profile. They are going to start. Actually, they're coming to campus for orientation on September 19th.
Thanks, Leanna. Sounds good. Yeah, I'm happy to go through the profile and some of the admission requirements with you guys. So I'm not going to read off every single number since you can just kind of take a look at the slide and see. But as you can get a sense, our current class size is slightly under 100, and we're at 97 at the moment. And I think we'll probably end up somewhere in between 95 and 100. It'll probably be similar for next year's incoming class, should you guys apply. You can see the average age is kind of in the lower mid-20s. We have probably the majority, a lot of our students are coming, and more so in recent years, we've seen more coming directly from undergrad, so they come straight from their undergrad university after finishing their bachelor's. So not everybody has that work experience yet. We do love to see the work experience, but we absolutely have a lot of students who come straight from undergrad as well. So you can kind of see that age range. We have younger students who are coming directly, as well as older students who have maybe spent many years working professionally or gotten another master's degree and then decided they had a career change or wanted to expand on their skill set and come get an MFE to open additional doors. So it is a wide range as far as the students that we have in the program. We have about a third women, a little bit less this year. We are always hoping to increase that number. We'd love to get more female financial engineers as well as increase the diversity in our program. But as you can see, we do have a wide range of countries represented. We have students who come to us from all over the world, from Asia, Europe, the United States, Latin America. I'm sure I'm leaving other places out. So that's one thing that we are very excited about. We bring students in from all over the world. We have different perspectives, different insights, different backgrounds, and we think that contributes greatly to the makeup of our class. Here you can kind of see some of the numbers about the average GPAs of the current students, as well as their average test scores. This is just to kind of give you an idea of what you should be aiming for as far as when you're taking the tests, just to be competitive. As of right now, we do still require either the GRE or the GMAT. There is no preference given to which exam you take, but one or the other is still required. Down here, you can see that we noted about the CFA level 1. We do have a handful of students who come in with having the CFA, the Chartered Financial Analyst, certification, which definitely will strengthen your application because it shows us that you've put a lot of time and effort into learning, professional finance skills and passing that exam, which definitely, requires effort and studying. But, if you don't have the CFA level 1, you are absolutely still welcome to apply. The majority of our students don't have that. It's just a nice to have if you're able to add that to your application. Here you can see some of the average work experience. As far as what kind of degrees our students are coming in with. So as you can see, kind of the majority of our students now are coming in with a bachelor's degree. We do have a handful, currently 14% for the incoming class, that has had a previous master's degree. Some have come to us with, an MBA or master's in finance or various other things that they get before they decide to pursue an MFE. Just so you can kind of see the breakup of the undergrad majors. As you might imagine, we are a very tech, math, computer-heavy program, so the majority of our students come from STEM backgrounds. We do have others as well, about a third, who come from more business, finance, and econ backgrounds. But just to give you guys a sense of where a lot of our students come from their undergrads, we have, all the engineering field, math, statistics, physics, computer science, data science, finance and econ, obviously, actuarial science, applied math. Sure, I'm probably leaving a few out, but that's just to kind of give you an idea. And on that note, Leanna, if you want to move it to the next slide. So let me talk to you guys a little bit about the admission requirements, so you know what you're getting into when you're applying. So you do need to have a 4-year degree, bachelor's degree or equivalent. For certain countries in Europe that follow the Bologna process, you can have a 3-year degree that's also considered acceptable, but for everybody else, does have to be a 4-year degree. For example, I know there are many applicants who reach out to us from India who have 3-year bachelor's degrees, and unfortunately, UCLA Graduate Division does not accept those as the equivalent. If you were an incoming student from India, for example, you would need to have either completed a 4-year degree like a B Tech or a B Engineering, or you would have had to take, on top of the 3-year degree, a postgraduate diploma. So just keep that in mind. As I mentioned, very math and computer heavy tech program. So we are looking for students who have very strong quantitative and analytical skills. We want you to have some computer programming skills. We say the important thing is to come in with more than a beginner's level experience in Python and R. Python is the leading language in the industry and one that most of our classes are now being taught in. We also use R in our program. And I did see a question in the chat that I'll just quickly reference about C. C++ is still an important language in the industry. We do not require it for the application, and I don't believe it's necessarily mandatory in our program. However, we have gotten feedback from employers and other advisory board members that say it's still a very valuable skill to have in this industry. So, we would recommend if you're trying to brush up on your skills and get your programming languages, C++ is a valuable one to have some experience in as well. I did mention the GMAT or GRE. That's required, one or the other. There is no preference. For international students who have a bachelor's degree from a university in a non-English speaking country, you are required to submit either the TOEFL or the IELTS as part of your application. That is to meet the UCLA Graduate Division's English language requirement. For example, though, if you were an international student, but you received a degree in the United States or in the United Kingdom, in an English-speaking country in Canada, then that requirement would be waived. Work experience preferred, although not required. Please make sure that you include anything in your application that you think would be valuable. Although, let me quickly mention on the work experience portion, one issue that we have had is a lot of students mentioning internships that aren't verifiable through a company's HR. So if you're going to list it as professional work experience on your application, it has to be a verifiable internship. We have to be able to, contact somebody in HR who can actually verify, yes, this person did do an internship for our company. If you worked for a friend of a friend under the table, don't report that as an official internship. You can mention that in your essay or somewhere else that you had experience that was practical and helpful and applicable, but don't tell us it's a formal professional internship unless it's verifiable through HR. And CFA, we touched on that earlier. It's great if you have CFA experience. If you have a CFA certification, please do include that in your application. It will absolutely strengthen it, but it is not required. So do not feel like that is something that you have to have in order to be able to apply. The majority of our students do not have it. Other requirements, you are required to have 2 letters of recommendation. You are able to submit 3, but only 2 are required. I will just say personally that I think this is a very important part of the application. This is where you can have, because we don't know you, right? When you're applying, we're reading your application, we're learning about you on paper, but these letters of recommendation are coming from either professors or managers, supervisors who know you, who have seen your work ethic, have seen your personality, seen your skill set. So it's very important to make sure that those letters are written by people who know you well and can speak to your qualifications, your work ethic, what kind of person you are. One tip that I would say is it doesn't have to be from the CEO of the company, especially if they don't know you. It's better to have it from somebody who has actually worked with you and can speak to you. And we can tell the difference when we're reading them. And then lastly, 2 MFE essays are required. You will notice as you're going through the application that there's also a section for a personal statement and statement of purpose. This is a requirement of UCLA's graduate division, but it is not required to apply for our MFE program. So to get around that requirement, you can either upload the same 2 MFE essays in the space for personal statement and statement of purpose, or you can also just upload a Word doc that says, personal statement not required for MFE program, please see MFE essays. And that's how you could bypass that. And lastly, if we like what we see on paper, we will reach out to you to complete a video interview. That is by invitation only. If you do get that video interview, take it seriously, show up dressed professionally, like you would for a real interview. We're evaluating how you present yourself. And another very important piece of advice about the video interview is do not cheat. I hate to say that, but we unfortunately have seen too many times students who get stumped on a question and then they are on their other laptop off to the side, Googling the answer. And meanwhile, we're watching them do this on camera the entire time. It's not going to help your application. We prefer you to be honest and say, you know what? I'm not positive about that one, but I'm going to go look that up immediately and learn it. We prefer that kind of honesty and transparency than you trying to be deceitful. So yeah, just take those into consideration as you're doing your application. And I think I probably spent enough time on that slide. So Leanna, why don't you take us to the next one?
Sure. One thing I just wanted to add is that we have rolling admissions within each round. So when you apply, we may reach out to you very quickly. We also may wait a while before we reach out, but that is absolutely normal. It has nothing to do with the strength of your application or anything like that, but I wanted to mention that there is rolling admissions within each round. And I will get to that. So the program that you all would be applying for, assuming you're doing your research for next year, would be the program that begins in September 2024. So the application will actually, we just heard from the graduate division that it will be available online after September 13. So if you're one who likes to plan, start gathering your documents now. And the application fee is $200. It is non-refundable. Our application deadlines are December 31st for round 1, March 1st for round 2, and April 30th for round 3. And we reserve spots for each round for international students as well. We get that question a lot. Can I apply in round 3 if I'm an international student? Obviously, it's better to apply early. However, it is not unheard of for an international applicant to apply at the 3rd round. And then the fees for the program are currently $89,539. That is for the current class of 2024, and that is subject to change for the incoming class of 2025. We do have financial aid available via grad student loans, but I'm also happy to mention that we have loans for international students, which are available as well through Prodigy, Quorum, and Discover, in which no U.S. cosigner is required. So some of our incoming students do take advantage of that and, apply for those particular graduate loans. And I saw that there was a question asking about, any kind of scholarships. And as you can see on the slide, we have mentioned merit-based scholarships and the California Residency Fellowship. So there are a limited number of merit-based scholarships of varied amounts, and they are awarded to students based on the overall strength of their admissions application and the relative strength in the pool of admits. And awards are made by the UCLA Anderson MFE Admissions Committee at the time of admission or at any point during the admissions cycle. So, don't worry if you haven't heard anything from us regarding a merit-based scholarship. It may come a bit later. with another, maybe an updated version of your official admissions letter. All applicants are considered for the merit-based scholarship from the application. So that's one of the great parts about the merit-based scholarship, is that you are not required to submit any additional information. So as Jeff said, and he emphasized the importance of the letters of recommendation, but the entire application is so important in presenting your best self. Don't misrepresent, but present your best self. And if you have some things that you'd like to tell us about, where perhaps you didn't do so well in certain courses in your undergrad, or maybe something happened during your undergrad program, go ahead and use that optional essay that we also provide you with in order to explain, maybe you were going through a difficult time and you didn't do as well as you had hoped, but talk about how you, tried to bolster your candidacy by doing other things. If you have certificates, as Jeff mentioned, not only the CFA, but the FRM, if you have certificates from those types of things, or if you've taken additional coursework on Coursera, please don't forget to upload those certificates. We need to see proof that you actually completed those. That leads me to the California Resident Fellowship. And I don't know if we have any Californians on this call right now, but I do want to mention that in addition to being considered for the merit-based scholarship, California residents are also eligible for a $10,000 fellowship. And the California Resident Fellowship is available, obviously, only to California residents who have been offered admission to the UCLA Anderson MFE program. Just to be very specific, U.S. citizens and permanent residents who have lived in California for more than 1 year qualify as California residents. And there are questions in the UCLA Graduate Division application that will determine whether or not you are eligible. And then really quickly, I just wanted to mention that in an effort to increase our diversity within the cohort, we are in our second year of granting a fellowship that combines financial support with mentorship and an internship at a top LA finance company. So, if you are thinking about applying, this may be something that we would consider you for. So like I said before, put your best foot forward. Write your essays, make sure that you spell check, make sure that the essays say UCLA Anderson MFE and not some other school that you're also applying to. We see a lot of those come through. We also, as Jeff mentioned, the letters of recommendation, make sure the professor knows who you are, or the supervisor knows who you are and doesn't write a letter for someone else. We've also seen that. So, this is just some advice from the admissions committee. And I will now open it for Q&A. And you can see all of our contact information here. And Olga is also on this slide. It's been wonderful to share our program with you all. And if you have questions, go ahead and pop them in the chat and we will go through and answer.
I do see that we have some questions that have come in through the chat, Liana.
Okay, great. Let's see.
First one is from Hyung Jun.
Okay. Let's see, scrolling up here. Okay, thank you, Hyung Jun, for joining us for today's session. I saw that you joined just a tad bit late, so I'm happy to say that this is recorded. So if you were part of this session, you will be emailed with a link to actually view it again if you didn't make it for the entire session. So if one can self-study CFA and FRM or CAIA on his or her own and pursuing an online computer science, can this be equivalent to curriculum of MFE? No, unfortunately, you're missing a lot of the classroom knowledge that is dispensed when you're sitting in with these phenomenal finance faculty. And you're not going to get the finance intuition that they provide and the insight. So, I don't believe that, just self-studying is going to be enough to propel you into what you're hoping to do. That's why the MFE program is here. And the MFE program is very much like, I like to say, like a pie cut in thirds. It's a third finance, a third computer programming, and a third math. And you're going to get all of that from these amazing finance faculty and, their wealth of experience. Many of them consult in firms outside of UCLA Anderson and have written papers, some of the most influential papers in the world of quantitative finance. And so that's what you're missing if you're just self-studying. So moving on, Gopi Krishna, thank you for joining us. Is it mandatory to learn any C language? And Jeff already did address this, but just to reiterate, yes, C++ is still valued in the finance industry.
If I may,
yes, sure.
Valued, it's something that it's irrelevant. Believe me, not only it's relevant, it will be, you will have a big edge if you have not just know it, but if you have mastered it and know it. The more you know it, the better. It does not apply to everything, but from what I've been seeing and talking, and it's really something to have a deep knowledge of if you have time.
Yes. So Abraham is asking, is there some kind of scholarship or fee application waiver for Fulbrighters? So Abraham, in the application itself, there is a way to, I believe they have a questionnaire that indicates if you're eligible for an application fee waiver. So what you would have to do is start the application and then go through that survey. And if you are eligible, they'll ask you to upload some documents proving that you're eligible. And that's the way that you would be granted a fee application waiver. And that doesn't just apply for Fulbrighters. And we have had some Fulbrighters come through our program. So I would definitely encourage you to apply. So Irais Sanchez Mena is asking, I study logistic engineering and I got my bachelor's degree in Mexico. Great. We have someone from Mexico starting our program this year as well. And we've had quite a few in the past years. Is it possible to apply directly or do I have to revalidate subjects? I guess I'm not entirely sure what you mean by revalidating subjects. How long ago did you graduate would be my first question. If you mean, I graduated 10 years ago and I haven't had math, or, I don't remember linear algebra, I don't remember statistics, then yes, I would definitely encourage you to take a brush up course on Coursera. There are many, many options out there where you can brush up, but absolutely, we have students from every country coming to our program. So Mexico is one of those countries, and we would love to have another student from Mexico join us. So Feng An Tsai is asking, regarding the financial engineering admission requirements, it's mentioned that having work experience in a quantitative discipline is beneficial. I am wondering if work experience in data analytics or data science would also be considered relevant for meeting this requirement. Are there any examples provided for reference? Thank you for the information shared today. You're very welcome. And yes, absolutely. Data science internship or full-time work experience, data analytics, yes, absolutely. We want to see evidence of maturity. We want to see that there is evidence of responsibility in holding down a full-time position or in doing a full-time internship. And just to reiterate, it does need to be an official internship. It can't be something that your father or mother found from your uncle and you're watching his store or something like that. That we would not count as relevant work experience. It may show your responsibility aspect, but it doesn't help us see that you're able to do maybe quant work. If you don't have any work experience, perhaps you have had some research experience in your undergrad that you could tell us about. That's also acceptable. And as Jeff said, we do a very holistic all-around review of each application. And we do take all of those factors into consideration. And, you know, I really appreciate everyone staying a little bit longer. I know we did go a little bit over time, but I really appreciate everyone's questions. And I see there's one more. Does UCLA have a pre-MFE intro refresher course before the summer, before the main program begins? And actually, that's a great question. And yes, the answer is absolutely yes. It is for admits that have been, you know, enrolled, or they have submitted their deposit. They are intending to come to the program. We have a Python workshop, and we also encourage you to take a C++ course from a link on our website, and you can see that once you've been admitted. We also do offer a math refresher course, and it goes over very important parts of what you should know before you go in to the program. And I see that Tony raised his hand. Tony, did you have a question as well that you wanted to?
Yeah, Lena, thanks for pointing that out. But just kind of like a personal question here. I come from an accounting and finance background in my undergrad, and I had almost 2 years of work experience. Just recently had exposure to financial engineering and just realized that this is something that I've always been interested in doing my like financial courses, but never explored deeply of.
Right.
So I was just wondering, like, since I'm more like financing part, like you said, it's composed of finance, math, and computer science. So I'm weaker in like the math and like computer and science portion. I'm wondering, like, if I were to take courses training those kind of technical knowledge,
yes,
what kind of courses would you recommend, or like any type of level that could be found on Coursera or Udemy or like anything like that?
Right, right. And, you know, we do have a list of courses that we look for. It is listed on our, I believe, our admissions requirements page. Jeff, if you want to pop that into the chat box. But essentially, for math, we're looking for linear algebra. We are looking for numerical analysis, or another way to think of that is numerical methods. We're also looking for ordinary differential equations and partial differential equations, with more of an emphasis on partial differential equations. We also look for multivariable calculus. So these are all courses that you could find on Coursera or OpenCourseWare, Udemy. You listed quite a few places that you're aware of. And then as for the computer programming aspect, absolutely, that is very, very important to making sure that you're successful in our program. And so what I would say is you could check out Data Camp. As a student incoming, you actually are offered by our program a 6-month free subscription to Data Camp, but I would not, in your case, recommend that you wait for that to happen. There are other websites where you could potentially get exposure and even go further than just beginner level, so that you're coming in with more intermediate knowledge of Python, R, C++. Some of those languages are, we use Python in the program. We also use R in the program, specifically for econometrics. And the rest of the courses do use Python quite a bit. And so that is a very important part. But what I will mention, Tony, you said that you have a background in finance, which is great. But you also have a background in accounting. And we have had some accounting undergrads come through our program and be very successful with the right preparation. So it's absolutely doable. And I would encourage you to pursue this path if this is something that's indeed interesting to you. I hope that helps.
Thank you so much, Lena. One last question here. I think you mentioned on your previous the same intro video for last year, I think there's about like I don't know if I remember the number correctly, like 4% of accountant from that category that was able to translate successfully. I was just wondering if you could, I don't know if this is possible, but I don't know if it's possible to introduce some of the students who has successfully completed the MFE program that had an accounting undergrad, so I can ask like similar questions of.
Yes, for that, if you just want to reach out to me, you have our email addresses right there on the screen. We would be, happy to connect you with someone who has that similar background, and then we can go from there.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you for everyone for bearing with this. Thank you.
Yes. So with that, I would like to wrap this up. It's now 13 minutes past when we said we would end. So I thank you all for sticking around, and I hope you all have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. And I hope we will be able to read your application. Thank you all.